you can take it.
Recordings in progress. So everyone's ready for this, right? All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to MVP Office Hours. Today is October 18th, 2024. And super duper Fridays. For those of you who haven't joined us before, we go through about 5 to 7 minutes of an opening spiel, and then everyone pays attention. It's great. But we just kind of want to lay out some ground rules and make sure everyone's on the same page. So usually you can find MVP Office Hours live on the first and third Friday of each month. You can find Dale and myself and Squire here, hi Squire, and on LinkedIn is the best place to find us. You can also sometimes find some stuff going on with MVP Office Hours on the website X, which is formerly known as Twitter, but we have definitely kind of fallen off of that space. But there's also our website, mvpofficehours.info, and we do have email. However, we do recommend that you use the community instead, because the email is for 3 of us, whereas in the community, you get everybody's thoughts and opinions coming at you. And then can we drop the community link in the chat, Squire? Because, or you can use the little QR code here in the, right here, it'll get you there. And then our next slide, I'm driving like Square. It's usually like a tag team thing, but I'm driving these slides today. It's great. And we are recording, so keep that all in mind. Our next call is November 1st. You can register at bit.ly/MVPOH, all caps. The recordings are available on the community and on YouTube. Our favorite hashtags: Problem Solve Together, Community Learner, MVPOH. If you have a question, we want you to post it in the chat or raise your hand and do all the things. And we invite everyone to share their experiences, insights, and recommendations with the group. Links, resources, and answers in the chat. Also, if you have something that you're sharing with us and you want to share your screen, we are very excited about this. However, please do not share any proprietary or private information that would expose you or your company or your clients to everything, because this is recorded. It's going to be posted on YouTube, and we don't want you to get in trouble. And we want to have fun and be informal, but we're going to keep professional and positive. And do remember that we are recording the session. So we've had a lot of events in the last, since I saw you all last, because I think I missed the last call, didn't I? I did miss the last call, right, Squire?
I don't remember.
I don't know either. Stu, you can tell me.
I can't remember if I was there.
What day is it? It's Friday.
Yeah.
So we have We Dreamin' in Oklahoma City coming up. We've got World Tour Atlanta coming up in November, Dreamin' in Data in St. Louis, November 7th, Higher Ed Dreamin', November 12th, MAR Dreamin'. The Commons Community Sprint is in Chicago, November 13th. I'll be there if anyone else is going to show up. World Tour New York, and then World Tour Seattle, which I think is now renamed Agent Force World Tour. But that's all right.
I just checked Stu GPT, which says that yes, you were there, you were on the call, you're at an airport in between either going to Florida Dreamin' or coming back from Florida Dreamin'. That's what Stu GPT says.
Sounds right. That sounds right.
Stu GPT is full of hallucinations and conflicts. So
I do recall being in an airport for this call. Yes, it is. Yes. All right. So that's where I was last week, 2 weeks ago. Okay. As you all have heard, AI is the super duper focus for Salesforce right now. And we just wanted to make sure you all had access to some of these links, because if you didn't know, you can take your first run at AI Associate and your first run at AI Specialist for free if you're looking for your next certification. I will tell you that I used the Trailhead Cert Prep for the AI Associate, and I thought I was very well prepared just with that trail mix. I'm working through the AI Specialist trail mix, and I haven't taken that exam yet, but that's all I got for that. But I am excited to hear about anyone else who's taken the specialist exam. I think that's all for AI resources and stuff. There's some other stuff here, but it's not that exciting. All right, what do we got next? Resources Hall of Fame. So if you don't know what we are referring to, some of the things are here. The Mandela effect comes up all the time. I swear it used to be like this, but we can get back to that. Linda, Linda, all right, and then we're gonna move on. Is Pat's here, right? Pat, are you here? You're there. There you are, Pat. Hi. Pat had two questions, comments, things in the community that we're going to touch on first, and then if you have any other questions, anyone, please post those up in the chat, and we'll get started. All right, Pat, do you want to talk to us about your new contact list of accounts?
Not really. I think that to it solved it. Like, don't give them access, number one, and number two, they just put the project on hold. So
okay, so
I still need to learn about campaigns.
okay, so do you want to talk about campaigns?
Is there a good trail or trail mix for campaigns? Because I searched and it just kind of came up with, you know, the random do this one and do this one and.
Do we have
So
any?
what are you hoping to get out of it? Like just understanding the technical build, or like the use cases? Like say more about what you're hoping to get out of it.
Okay, well, it's been suggested, and I'm going to take this suggestion. The project I was working on, you used they had these groups, and they're not Salesforce groups. They're regular people groups, like you're in the knitting group, or you're in the dog sitting group, or you're in this group, but they wanted to have that information in Salesforce. And you know, you're not going to do a pick list because it'd be a multi-select pick list, which you can't, which is hard to report on. So you're not doing that. And so it was suggested, hey, make them campaigns. So I was just, you know, kind of looking for trailheads or trail mixes or some training kind of like for that. So I really know what I'm talking about, and I'm not just blowing smoke in the wind.
Hey, Joy, this is David. I don't see a raised hand anywhere, but Pat, there's a really good campaign about MTSP documentation. Did a really good thing on campaigns. Also, remember campaigns are 5 levels vertical and unlimited horizontal. So I would recommend creating like a parent campaign of whatever the grouping is going to be, and then your individual campaigns would be whatever your pick list values would be. So think of the parent campaign as like the label of the pick list field, and then your child campaigns are all the values of your pick list. That'd be the easiest way to understand it.
Okay, great.
Before we go on, David, would you introduce yourself?
Oh,
Because I'm smiling because I know things, but David, go ahead and introduce yourself real quick so that Pat understands where you're coming from.
well, Pat and I know each other, but hey everybody, I'm David Oakner. I'm, for at least this week, I'm still at Salesforce, and I've been on platform for about 20 years and been inside for almost 11. Mostly at .org, but I'm basically the data specialist or the org analysis specialist for the CSG group here in Salesforce.
And David and I crossed paths a number of years ago, and I forget what company I was at, but you were on the team that was handling my company at the time. So
I think it was either Hell or Heller. I can't remember which. And weren't you doing NGOC, I think?
I don't know. I don't know.
It was geez, that would have been 8 years ago, a long time ago, but yeah.
It was apartments.com or it was Envoy. I don't know. So
yeah, it was a long time ago.
It's all good. It's all
good.
good.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
David, I owe you a thank you as well. It's good to see your face. I don't know if you remember, again, 8 years ago, NGOC, I was at Minnesota Public Media, and you weren't. I don't think you were directly our relationship, you didn't have any need to help me, but you helped me anyway. So I appreciate the community, appreciate folks like David who are just smart as heck and willing to reach out and solve a problem. So it's a blessing.
100%, 100%. All right. So Pat, are you all squared away with campaigns then? For
Yes.
now?
Yes.
Excellent.
But I have
Excellent.
another question.
No, no, not allowed. Nope.
Pat,
can
before we
wait
let
mine.
before we let you jump ahead, do we have any other questions in the chat square?
There was one from Christy. She wanted to talk about an article that was on Salesforce Ben yesterday. I think that's the only one I saw. Oh no, and Nate added one. So
All right. So Christy, then Nate, then Pat. You can jump in again. Christy, what do you got?
So I put the link in. Salesforce Ben had an article about Salesforce to integration with Outlook being disrupted. Microsoft's rolling out something called SFI, and it's some new milestone. So I asked my friend called ChatGPT, and they gave me some dates. But I was still like, okay, what is everything it's going to interrupt? How does it work? What can we do? Because it just said, the article said to reach out, that Salesforce admin can't do anything. You have to get with basically the Microsoft admin. But I was looking for more details so I can figure out what my clients might need to do.
Do you guys want to answer? I can answer that.
David, run with it. If you know something about this, run with this one.
Yeah, so there was that plugin for Outlook,
Mhm.
and that's going to be end of life. That's been announced a long time ago. I think it already is end of life, actually.
Mhm.
There's
until
a
next year they
new-
keep bumping it, but yeah, but it's going away.
Yeah, there's a new integration for Outlook. Blanking on the name since I don't ever deal with Outlook. But yeah, you'd have to set up the new integration, and it basically replaces that plugin. So it's, it's the connection from Outlook to Salesforce is not going away. You just have to change the old plugin for the new integration.
Okay, sweet. It was Microsoft, so I didn't know if I know they said Outlook, but I thought, well, there could be other things because it's Microsoft.
Yeah.
I
No,
have a
there's-
meeting open with Salesforce right now concerning that article that they emailed to me, and they said, go talk to Microsoft. We can't help you.
Who said that?
Salesforce support.
Oh, that's not surprising.
Yeah, we asked them. We've got like, I don't know, 6 entries in Microsoft Entra that say Salesforce. They're all named the same. And we're trying to figure out which one do we need to be looking at and what exactly do we need to set. And I'm at a dead
Yeah,
end.
I would think that most of the plugins, if it's just labeled Salesforce, those are the ones that are going to go away. Dig into the help docs for just, Office 365 integration. And that's where you'll find the right information. If your account is signature, then you can possibly get to what they're called CSMs now. They used to be TAMs. Not all CSMs are equal in any way, shape, or form. So just keep asking for someone technical to answer the question. If you have
David,
that level of support.
EXP won't be affected when it's going back and forth between Outlook and
The
Salesforce.
what? I'm
Would
sorry?
Einstein Activity Capture be affected at all? Because that's going back and forth between Outlook.
Well, you have to have the new integration for Einstein to work.
Okay.
Yeah, the plugin won't look at Einstein at all.
Okay.
So far,
I
the most
think-
I've figured out is tokens are going away. So security has to be set right in Microsoft to allow things to go back and forth. But that's about the extent of my knowledge so far.
Can you guys hear me at all?
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, I was talking to our Microsoft. So most of it is going to be on the Microsoft side. Christy, you're going to have your 365 team do some adjustments to their settings in 365. That'll ensure that when the change does happen, that the 365 is ready to communicate with Outlook. But on your end, for the most part, if you've got the most recent plugin, you're using the most recent application, whatever it is, I forget what it's called, but the 365 team or the Microsoft team will have to make some adjustments, make sure they have the right types of settings set in Office 365 for the communications to work properly.
Okay, so I just have to verify everything. Got it. Okay, thank you.
all the things.
All right. So I think that hands off to Nate's interest in getting rid of Excel, and we're all on board with that.
Yeah. Let's see.
So yeah, we're a B2B electrical manufacturing company, and we just, a lot of our processes are outside of Salesforce. A lot of our processes are also like, like partially in Salesforce. So like, it's like, oh, it gets to this stage, and then the engineering team just essentially knows, oh, now I need to go into Excel and fill in my checklist. And I'm trying to figure out how to basically grab that information and, like get it into Salesforce, right? And it's a lot of, I don't know, it's just basically a lot of math, right? There's a lot of formulas and stuff like that. They have their inputs, and then it spits out the value at the end inside of Excel. But I'm just kind of curious as to like how to be able to do that inside of Salesforce so that, I can be like, oh, hey, everything lives in the same platform. Everyone's drinking from the same well. There's not like these rogue spreadsheets flying around. I'm assuming it's just a simple concept of just like formula fields. But yeah, I'd just like to hear from everybody else as to how they could potentially solve that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Pandora's box of concerns. Oh, Stuart, I like your referral. So I think there's a couple things to break down, because you're right on track there. So the first one is like, sometimes those add-ons in Excel, like if you're using it, like in finance, we have a lot of add-ons that you can add to Excel that you just literally cannot rebuild, not without, and I don't think you would. So like, there's that first step of understanding, could I even let Salesforce do this for me? And then on that trade-off, then the second piece of it is like, okay, well, if Salesforce can't do it, how do I get the results into Salesforce? So it is the system of record, and you're just using a calculator. So I think that's, Stuart, what your link is. Do you want to talk about Excel Connector?
Yeah, so and there are a few of these tools out there that the whole goal is, instead of moving the sheep into the Salesforce pen, just let them live in the pasture, the Excel pasture, and do their work there. And then if you've got like formula fields or summary fields inside of Excel that need to populate Salesforce, tools like this, the Excel Connector, is something that I know a lot of people use. And it's just a connected app, lives inside of Excel, and you map the Excel columns or the Excel cells to Salesforce fields. And as they're updated, you have to have like record IDs or some sort of a external durable ID so that you know which rows match to which fields. But I know of people that have used this very well, and their users don't want to leave Excel, and there's no reason to push them out of Excel, because what they're doing is data entry and manipulation. So it might be easier to do inside of Excel.
Yeah, that's a good, like, trying to get, people that have been here for a super long time to adopt a new process is just, it's very difficult. So I'm definitely going to check this out. So thanks.
So just to play devil's advocate, I will just caution you, Excel Connector is powerful. It does more than you think it can do.
Can you say more?
Don't give it to the wrong people. Like, I mean, I've had people who didn't have rights to save to fields, able to save to fields because of the connector, and who set it up for them.
I see. Okay.
So
Well,
just
it's like
be smart about it.
Yeah, it's like any other
tool.
API tool. It's whoever's the authenticator is what you're going to have. So it's like data loader. Don't give data loader to whoever, because it's an API, instant push.
Right.
If your users,
oh, go ahead, sir.
well, yeah, you follow the basic security rules. So if your users only need to update opportunities, then only allow opportunities from this channel. Don't open up the whole world so that one day you walk in and you see, oh wait, all my accountants now, all the accounts now say bogus account 1, bogus account 2. That's not fun.
Right. That makes sense.
Stu, when you've implemented, how do you ensure that effectively the Excel template the mapping is accurate? Like, do you have to have a lockdown template for use, or do you have, like, how do you ensure that you don't accidentally have someone move column 1 into column 2, and then now they're mapping the wrong way?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
Because users are really good at breaking well-designed functions, and so like my first thought was, like if I was going to use some of this, I would have to define a template that couldn't be edited from a formatting perspective, but could be edited from a data perspective, so I know that when they click the button, it matches.
I would take that one more step, and I would not use the connector. I would let them live in Excel, because Salesforce doesn't do everything. So Excel's I use Excel every day. And then as an admin, do like a batch import once a week or twice a week, depending on how often you really need the data updated, so that you can control, hey, is this really formatted correctly? Is the template correctly, labeled, blah, blah, blah. Really depends on how much control you want to be of your org. As an admin, I view, I'm like a wolf, protecting my young. It's like I would never let anybody touch my data. So, it just depends on how open you want to be on your org.
Since we have people on the call, such as Sarah and Andrew, there would be a totally different way of thinking about this, of not leaving them in Excel. And if I say something out of the realm of possibility, you will let me know, of course. But what if you created a ScreenFlow that also contained data tables that look and act like an Excel spreadsheet, and then allow users to, within a ScreenFlow, do all that Excel stuff, and they maybe even not know that they're inside of Salesforce doing it? Could you trick them in that way?
Yeah, so that was kind of like my thought, where like they click the button and then it launches the ScreenFlow that just like asks for the criteria, and then because it basically has to flow through 3 different departments. It has to go through sales, it has to go through marketing, and then it has to go through engineering. So my assumption would be I could give them the fields that they need to fill out based upon the profile, and then once the baton and the relay race gets handed from one person to the other, they get an email indicating that there's action items that need to be taken from them. But like the underlying math behind it is like, I don't know if this can be done just with, with formula fields like inside of Salesforce, right? Like I'm just not, I'm just starting to, I just got the Excel spreadsheet yesterday. So like, I'm still trying to like pinpoint like what needs to go where, as far as like what math is being performed on the Excel spreadsheet itself, just to even see if it's possible, right? So, but yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, was just like, all right, I'm just going to make this very, dummy proof, where it just like ScreenFlow, and then here's your data. Cool, great, you're done. Throw confetti on to the next person, right? Like,
yeah, I'd love to see those formulas, because my first thought is, yeah, there might be some formulas inside of Excel that are going to be really, really hard to duplicate. But then the other side of my head says, you'd be surprised at how advanced Flow has gotten with being able to create variables, being able to create formulas inside of the Flow. You wouldn't even have to save it to an object. Like, there's a ton of stuff that you can do, and the folks on the call that are Flownatics can back me up on this.
Yeah, I was
It's
gonna.
not me, it's Sarah.
Yeah. My reservation was just going to be, what are your formulas? And if you have things like VLOOKUPs or indexes, matches, I don't know what the equivalent would be in Salesforce. It would have to be like looking to another object and pulling through a formula field. I don't know. But if it's mostly just math and logic, you can probably do it in Salesforce, and the syntaxes are extremely similar. So that's helpful. It wouldn't be the kind of thing where if you have a data table in your flow, you can't put a formula field in, like you can't see the formula the way you can Excel, right? Like if you go into Excel, you type equals, you write out your formula, that's what populates that cell. It would be more like they would see the results of the formula in their data table, but it would have to be a custom formula field on that object. if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes
So,
sense.
like,
You should probably also consider, how are you gonna, is this something to report on? Because remember, formula fields are calculated, every time it's touched. So, if your org is huge and you're doing all these formula fields, could really impact performance. Could also be your users not knowing not to use a formula field for a filter, thinking, hey, there's a field, I'm going to filter on that. And then their report times out and they come to you going, hey, my Salesforce sucks. It's going so slow, type of thing. So,
Yeah, that's a good call out. I don't
gotta think holistically on what you're trying to do, with it.
Yeah, I believe that, I mean, I would assume that the end result would be, we would want to report on this data at some point in time. So that's a good consideration to not, bog down the multi-tenant architecture with a bunch of formula fields, right? Like,
I'm going to get up on my SIPOC soapbox here for a second too. And like, I feel like you're solving a problem, but we don't know enough about the befores and afters. Sometimes this is an opportunity to say like, wait, so you're taking stuff out of Salesforce to build something in Excel to then load it back into Salesforce. And like, you start to abstract the focus of fixing this Excel file into what is really trying to be happening. And suddenly you realize you already had the tools, or there's opportunities to completely pivot. And while change management's hard, you have a better solution at the end. So I wouldn't lose track of the idea of like what the heck are you trying to do? Because you might find a different solution entirely.
yeah, that's a good point too.
And especially if the outcome in that SIPOC diagram is like you were talking about approvals, well, sometimes you can step up and say, we need multiple sign-offs that are happening in Salesforce. So this work has to start in Salesforce. How do we pivot? And then you can get leadership and support in that change management process to say it needs to start earlier so that the end result is better and then turns into different conversations.
Cool. All right,
right.
lots to think about. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Yeah,
the feedback.
Yeah. All right, Nate's wrapped up then. Are we back to Pat's third question?
I think so. And I know Heather jumped in, and then Sarah added to Heather's question too. So we'll make sure there's plenty of time for both of those.
All right. Yep. So we got 30 minutes left. Pat, let's go.
Okay, I'll make
Yeah.
it quick, and you can just put the links in the resources. Looking for some resources for studying for platform app. If there's any good not only trail mixes but super badges I should do, blah blah blah. That's it.
Well,
All
you're
right.
in luck because the certification page takes you right to the recommended trail and super badges. So that would be my first recommendation, is just use that.
Mhm.
Okay.
It also gives you the exam overview, which will tell you give you something to leverage to assess if you're ready. So
Yeah, the exam overview. It was written by the people who wrote the exam. And the study guide gives you all the things you need to succeed.
I don't think I've ever found the study guide to be helpful because it's so broad.
You could do Focus on Force, I believe, has a module for the app builder.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
Force has a lot of fans for sure.
Yeah, Focus on Force is what I used. I'm currently studying Platform App Builder right now. I would definitely recommend going back to that page where it just kind of gives you the breakdown of the summary of like what the exam topics are. Because actually, Joy, you gave a talk in Midwest Streaming about this very thing, about
I did.
under the hoodie, and I learned a lot from that session. So
I did. That was when I had someone ask me who the heck we thought we were. It was great. Who do you think you are telling us about this? Well, I work on the credentialing team, and there's some other folks on this call that have done that also. But yeah, Nate, thank you. Pat, our friend Mike Reynolds has also worked on the certifications and the those outlines. Like they all go together. And I don't, Andrew, you've worked on certifications too,
Yeah.
right? Squire,
When you
have
take
you?
an exam, it's
Linda
just think,
has.
what would Mike Reynolds say? think. Like when you read it, it's just like think like Mike Reynolds. How would he argue what could be right or wrong? That's the mindset that I use now.
I literally argued with him yesterday about some exam questions. So, you get the idea, but just the exam guide is going to be a solid foundation for what you need to learn. And so if you can explain the concepts in that exam guide to someone else, then your learning is in a better place than it was if you can just answer like multiple choice questions. Does that make sense? Because answering multiple choice questions will get you the pass, but understanding the concepts will get you using Salesforce the way you need it to be used. Will help you further.
I heard another good suggestion. I can't remember if it was on the admin's podcast recently or
Mhm.
streaming, but to take those questions and go build the scenarios in a dev org. Like
Yep.
actually try to do what it's asking you to do as if you were that admin. So hands-on experience.
Yep, it helps with the retention too. It's like, when they talk about writing stuff out longhand as opposed to like typing it or just, reading it, like it helps you remember and gives you an experience to go along with it. Be all right, Pat. You'll get it. Platform App Builder was a good, I got to take the bridge exam because I had the old dev exam, dev cert, and they retired that and gave me Platform App Builder, and I had to take a bridge exam. So it was like 12 questions. So I
Platform
can't
App Builder was my favorite cert so far.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Love that content.
Really? I'm gonna reach out to you, Sarah. Because it's not my favorite. I've taken it once and it's like, I didn't like no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Sarah. I tend to tell people to do App Builder before admin, honestly.
Because admin is not a prereq for App Builder.
And it's a different thought process.
Different skill set entirely, for sure. All right, Pat, you set?
Yep, all set. Bye.
Solid. So no, you don't have to leave.
No, I mean, I don't have anything else. I don't have anything else to ask.
Fantastic. So Squire, you said we updated the list. We got Heather, Nate, Daniel, then Kathy. So Heather, are you still here, Heather? There you are.
I am still here.
Wow.
Okay. I have an interesting situation where, and I can share a Snagit shot of the report that way, because like I can't click in anything because it gets me into possible patient information.
Oh yeah, we don't want to see any of that.
So that's where the Snagit's good, because you can see all the different stuff, but not without anything else. So let me just, if you give me a chance here for it. Okay.
Yeah, don't get yourself in trouble. That's
no, and I'm in a whole new world where there's a lot more compliance in my current job here. Okay, so here you can see no personal information, but
can everyone see it? Because I have okay, good. There, I have it lost.
Okay. Awesome. All right, so
there it is.
We have grouped by date of service. This is our total number of treatments. From this, we have patient equivalent, which is total sum of total treatments divided by 20. My stakeholder would then like to see a running total of these numbers going forward. And so I was trying to use previous group value, but it just goes, all right, I'm gonna add these two. Now add these two. Now I'll just add these two, but not like continuing up. So it was like going up and down and up and down. I'm like, okay, no. So it's just grabbing two. I need it to continue to go forward. Is that something? I mean, like I had somebody kind of break something out, but he could only go up to 12 increments off of the community. But if they want this larger, like multiple years, now what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Squire, you're excited. So that
yes, I love previous group val. And I love the other one, previous group val parent
group val.
Those formulas are so powerful and such a pain in the ass to build.
No.
So no, I mean, until you realize what's happening, like when you get one to work and your brain goes, oh, that's what it was. you're struggling the same way I think everybody struggles the first time through it. And it has a lot to do with understanding how to build the formula so it knows what previous value to look at or previous group to look at and how to handle it. If you're getting just the previous value only, it has to do with how you built your formula. So you're not actually looking at the summary row, you're looking at the previous total. So you're on the right track, and I don't know if we'll have time with all the questions to really go into it, but what you're describing can be fully accomplished with previous group val formulas.
Reporting.
It's just going to take a big hammer and some patience and maybe a shot of your favorite booze.
If you have the old reporting workbook, it's got a great chapter on pre-val and I mean, it's I keep these around because they're such a great resource.
Right now, there's like one trail mix, and I passed that one, and
Yeah.
basically that was just getting a percentage from the parent,
Yeah.
and it didn't really go further.
This has a whole thing about pre-val group. It's great. Also, I would ask your supervisor, why in the world are you looking at data 10 years ago?
Oh, it's not my supervisor. We have
whoever's
another person
requesting,
that's really big into some of this stuff, and we're like, just pull it out to Excel and you've got it in 5 minutes.
Yeah, no,
but they still want to
would
see like the continue improvement month
after
over.
after 5 years, the data is useless. So I would say that person, why do you want to see the last 10 years? The trend doesn't really matter because, especially with COVID involved.
Well,
really,
David, they were
you know.
probably hired 10 years ago, so they want to show that they made a difference.
David, not if they're doing a longitudinal study. Then they could be looking at like 50 years worth of data. Come on.
But who knows?
Oh my God, like you need to take that book and just make PDF copies so we can all get to it. I
Where am
gave
I
mine
supposed to
away
find that
years
book?
ago to a newbie, and
Show the book again, David.
Library.
It is out there on PDF.
Salesforce reporting workbook.
Yeah,
I have it
reports,
somewhere.
dashboards. I picked this up my first Dreamforce. Probably when the hell was that? It was like 14 years ago or whatever.
It's been retired.
It
Yeah, it
was
was retired
but I
long
had
ago.
it in 2010.
It is on the web.
Did you find it?
I have it in my PDF somewhere.
Yeah.
I will.
Nothing ever dies on the internet.
I will
So
find
you're
it and put
you're
it
saying,
in.
Square, that this is possible for more than just 12 increments.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to continue for the number of groupings you have.
yeah. You know, I do take credit card and PayPal. You know, so if you
The other thing I don't want to like indoctrinate you to the joy of Steve Mo, but if you go to the Formula Success group, post this and explain what you're doing.
I do have that there, and somebody responded back, but he could only get me 12 increments.
Okay.
And so
Yeah, I mean,
maybe I
keep pounding
can.
on it. Steve will help you for sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
just at mention, Steve, he's not only one of the nicest people in the world, he is the down and out, the most genius about reporting in Salesforce.
Yeah.
I use his stuff every day.
Wildly outside the box. It's fantastic. Like
Awesome.
He
Okay.
also- he has a
So it
managed
is okay. I will
package.
then continue to push because I'm like, if that's all I can get, then I don't.
No. You can
Okay.
get more. Also, Steve's got a managed package that you can put into your org that has all of his formulas and just populates, you know, the power of one and all the objects. I mean, it's amazing what he's put out there. So
he's been busy.
Yeah.
Heather, I'm gonna guess that I might be wrong, but I'm gonna guess that the reason it's blocking at 12 is even though your picture is only showing groupings by month, are you grouping by year as well? And so you've got multiple groupings?
No, they're just going month. So that was my screenshot so that I could put it on the community in Ohana, kind of going, anybody? Because when I poked at it, they had me rebuild the first summary group just to kind of put that in there and put the math in for the summary, you know, the sum of the second one. But it was just kind of like, you know, when I was just trying to grab a summary field to put in the summary field, it wasn't doing that. So you can at least do the pre-val group, and I'll have to figure out the increments then.
Yeah.
And just rebuild the other.
Yeah.
Guys. Okay.
Yeah, you're on track. It just, we all have to work together to help you out. So keep asking questions, use the success at mention Steve Moe. He'll come running, he'll tell you exactly why there's a problem.
Okay, I will do that.
Good luck. Let us know.
Thank you.
Come back and show us how you fixed it, because everybody needs to learn that function. If they don't know it's there and how to use it, they're missing out on some cool stuff.
Yeah, because I don't want to send people out to Excel to bring them back. I mean, if I
Nope.
can do it here.
Yep.
So, okay.
Can I tag on to that with a similar question?
Sure.
Let me share real quick. So my question is, here's my report that looks kind of similar. What I want to know is there a way to count up how many groups I have? Like 1, 2, 3,
you get
4,
5.
5. Yeah, I want the answer to be 5 because I want to use it down here to divide the total by the number of groups. And in this case, I'm doing a login summary or summary of logins, and there's only 6 months of history. So I know it's always going to be 6 groups. But
Like you want parent group count?
Yeah, basically. Does that exist?
Why not just hard code 6 if you know it's going to be 6?
Well, in this case, it's 6, but
Sorry, I'm kidding.
I know.
That's a good question.
Can you do the power of 1 on this?
I don't know.
Yeah, I would
That'd be a
do
good
the,
idea.
I mean, enter the
With the-
I mean,
like,
the obvious
make a-
answer
Sure.
is Tableau. You can just do it in Tableau without any
Okay.
problem.
Yeah.
But,
Right?
I don't
Can you
know.
like hard code a formula of 1 and then count the ones?
Yeah.
yeah.
I really
don't
don't know.
Okay. Cool.
It's a great question.
If I
It'll be a
figure it
great
out.
answer when you come back with
Yeah,
it.
exactly. I'll figure it out. I'll let you know. Yeah, I could take it into Excel. I could take it to Tableau. No problem. It's super easy. But anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I mean, in my
and-
mind, I'm feeling like you have to have a column that's storing the value in order to reference it, which doesn't help you either, but maybe.
Well, and the problem is it's kind of dynamic, right? Like this number of groups might change as the data changes.
Right.
Mhm.
So I don't know how to store that in a column really.
Well, I mean, you could have a formula that's just saying
Oh, yeah.
one plus previous value, and then it'd be 2, and then it'd be 3, and then it'd be 4, and then at that bottom.
Oh, it's
column,
a summary.
But it would be ugly and silly. There's got to be a better way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Anyway.
could just have the power of 1 is just a static 1 on whatever
Mhm.
object this is.
Mhm.
So for the logins, you could just have, just for each month, I guess, have 1, a 1 or something. I don't know. I'd have to look into it, but yeah, everyone's saying the right things.
Yeah.
We're
So
all
it's definitely-
thinking it would work. None of us have tried it yet. So
I think
It'd be fun to have
I
this
think
problem
the
to solve for once instead of the other ones we're dealing with.
oh man.
Anyway. Thanks.
Fantastic. Who's
I just wasn't
we
missing it.
we have Nate, Daniel, and Kathy.
Yeah.
Nate, you had another question? We have 2 Nates. Or did we already answer your question?
You already answered my question. I had another question, but it doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily need like the floor of everyone. It was just general, like, hey, is anybody noticing performance issues like lately? Like when you're in the reporting feature specifically.
I haven't been running reports lately. I don't have an answer here.
Never
Like
heard of
I get like page unresponsive like a lot these days.
Check your
Interesting.
filters. Check your filters.
It's literally to the point where like I'm trying to do just like the out of the box opportunity report and then just like adding or removing like one filter or like one like additional field, and then I just get the page unresponsive. Like it's like the browser itself says page unresponsive, and I've been noticing that.
Classic. See what happens.
No, seriously, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're testing,
What happens?
I do it all in my pro bonos. I do that all the time. I'm flipping back and forth for testing purposes. So if you're testing something, just flip back so it's a server side issue rather than the client side issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
At worst, you now know how to open a service ticket to say, I prove that it's not the report, it's the interface. What are you going to do about it, Salesforce? That's usually the first thing they're going to ask you.
Yeah, right.
Yep. All good. All good. All right. So after
Fantastic.
after Nate's second run at us, where are we? Daniel.
Daniel.
Hi guys, I'm not gonna go camera. It's a little bit
Okay.
spastic, but I had a picklist field. I'm trying to explain to you that they need German. Do you store multiple languages in a pick list? I mean, how do you guys handle that? And would you just put it into a new pick list, or would you? And here's the other piece of this: as I'm referencing custom metadata to pull this out of. And Flow, it got too big to try to do a formula. So there's just a lot of pick list values. So I'm kind of like stuck. I want the label to be in their German, right? But I also want the pick list field values to be German as well. So is it multiple pick list values, multiple sets? And they're going to use both because it's going to go onto a template, quote template on the table there.
Oh yeah, someone's still sharing a screen. If you're done, you should drop
Sarah,
it.
Yeah,
think
I
that's-
tried to stop it, but I can't. Can you stop it for
All right,
me?
I'm gonna kick you out. I'm really good at kicking
Great.
people out of meetings. So
See you in a minute.
Not as good as I was the other day, Squire. Not as good as I was.
all right, yeah, good point.
Mike Reynolds' answer is the best answer. I agree.
Yeah,
Translation workbench.
unfortunately, but yes, that's the way to do it, right?
Unfortunately is the way. That is, well, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it adds a level of complexity that maybe you're not prepared for, but that's what it's designed to do, right?
In all fairness, though, I think German is one of the platform supported languages. So if the user chooses German, you may just automatically get the majority of what you want.
The majority is the key.
Well,
Yeah,
all
so
the standard stuff.
Yeah, there's a couple different tiers of languages that Salesforce classifies. So there's fully supported, which is literally everything that's on the platform, including setup, is supported in that language. Then there's kind of like a front end supported where they'll translate for you, but not setup. And then there's you can do it, and we understand that this is a language, and we sort of get what comes along with that language. And those values you can load in with Translation Workbench. So if you find yourself in a spot where the user on their user record chooses the locale that they're interested in, which is going to structure, is that a comma or a decimal? How do you do dates? That types of things. That's what locale is going to do, which is part of this. So you choose that for the user properly, then set their language, have them navigate and just give you feedback. Did I get it all? If you got the vast majority of it, then don't worry. If you're missing key elements, you can use Translation Workbench to actually populate what you need. It is a bit of a process. There's a lot of help online for how to get it to work properly, but Translation Workbench is the thing that allows you to regulate your platform in the language of your choosing, but have your user interact with that platform in the language of their choosing.
Stuart's got some questions before we.
Yeah, I'm reading that. So in this use case, it's one pick list, but it looks like the use case is going to be much larger than that. I keep getting bigger and bigger questions.
Yeah,
So
right. Once you get one field in German, pretty soon, it's knowing how Germany works. They're all going to be in German before the end of the day. Yeah, because I was wondering if for those German located users, if we could use dynamic forms and then show a different page.
But you got different columns then too, right?
Different columns, different.
You'd have an English pick list and a German pick list.
Well, can you do any sort of pick list dependencies? Like if they're in German, then only show these pick list values versus if they're in non-German, show different pick list values. But I mean,
yeah, that would work.
I think
German record type. What are you doing?
I think yes, exactly. I think Mike's answer is going to be ultimately better because the deeper I go into this set of weeds, it gets thicker and weedier.
Keep rebuilding everything.
Yeah, and adding more. If it was like they promise this is just one field and 3 pickless values.
I ain't buying it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never just
Appreciate it.
one.
I love Germany. I travel to Germany a lot. Love to all my Germans.
I would caution against, different pick lists for different languages because your reporting will be bizarre to say the least.
Agreed.
All right. So
Yeah, thank you
that's-
guys.
Yeah.
All right, we got 5 minutes and 1 left, I think, right?
Kathy, who's next? I lost your list.
Yes, Kathy.
It's just
Kathy,
me.
hi. Are the pants coming yet? Where are the pants?
Oh, apparently they got sold before.
Ah. All right,
okay.
moving on.
Okay. We won't get into what that discussion's about. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm not coming off camera. I came
That's
down with
okay.
a cold post Ned.
We're just glad
Fortunately
you're
after
here.
my flying, so no ear pain, so I'm good. I just look terrible. Question was tools for managing and migrating data. I work with really small nonprofits, only do the odd migration. So other than the NPSP import templates that I've used for that, I was curious if there were any other data managing tools that people use and or migrating tools that people use that they could recommend, that I could sort of pass on the recommendation to the question.
Well, I love Validity's demand tools, but it's not cheap. So when you say nonprofit, I'm thinking probably not.
I don't know. I don't believe the person who was asking works for a nonprofit. I just personally work with nonprofits, so that's why I don't have a lot of knowledge.
Also, Validity is PC only, it's not Mac. So that's something to think about.
Okay, good to know.
No, that's not true. They have a version 5 that is Mac compatible.
Oh, they finally came over to Mac? Oh, okay. That's they've been saying no to me for so many years, I just gave up. I do all the import and implementation pro bono projects, and I use SQL to build rebuild their database wherever it's coming from, and then I use my templates to either straight data loader or the import template in MPSP. Like I said, I used to use Jitterbit, which was amazing, but they got rid of the free version. Because you could tie Jitterbit to your SQL database and just push a button and everything goes in. But it's super expensive to do the paid version. But yeah, it's just a lot of manual effort. Like when I do a Razor's Edge migration or from Sugar or from any other of the bizarre CRMs that are out there, it's just, there's no easy button for data.
Okay, and for general data management, like day-to-day?
Data management is a big term. What do you mean?
Okay, yeah, and that's what I thought, that was like, I don't know, it's like, is that what elements and like would elements be like one of those products that help you?
Depends on what they're doing. So I mean,
okay.
You can go from anywhere from using like Inspector Reloaded, where you can query and you can load data, to just using Data Loader to pull data down to look at it, outside, to using a tool like DBAMP that lets you connect a SQL Server database to your Salesforce and pull the data out, and then use stored procedures to process data.
Okay, so there isn't a one-size-fits-all tool.
Yeah, it also depends on your price point and how much money you want to spend, and if you're looking at free tools and the whole thing. So
yeah, and what tools the org might already have, the business might already have that they could utilize. Like if I'm pulling down 1 million records and I don't have access to a database, I'm gonna have problems.
There's
also too, I don't overestimate the ability for people to both write and not write SQL or not write.
Yeah, SQL.
There's lots of questions to be going into this, right?
Yeah, SQL's free. That's why I like it. And the new version of Excel goes up to 999,999 rows per worksheet. So I mean, you can do with free stuff, you can do a lot. So.
also the question of like, what do we mean by management? Are we talking deduping? Are we talking
Yeah,
transforming? Are
that's,
we talking?
yeah, it's a can of worms you've opened up
Those
here.
are all different tools, right?
Yeah.
Or
No,
could
not
be.
really. Demand Tools does deduping, it does transforming, it does, for me, it does everything.
It used to be free.
It's not free though.
It was
Yeah.
never free for me.
Well,
It
for
used to be free for the
nonprofits.
nonprofits. Yep.
Yeah.
I will never ever forgive them. I will never ever forgive
It was
them.
it was a beautiful resource, and the folks that were paying for it were happy to see that the nonprofits were getting it for free, because
Yeah, for
is-
sure.
it was heartbreaking. That was
Was
heartbreaking.
that after they got sold
Yeah.
to Validity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
a
want
great tool.
before you
great
get too
tool.
far, I want to channel my inner Dale here and just say,
Why?
think about the business case, because I spent years transforming ACT. I don't know if you remember the database ACT.
Yes.
ACT data into Salesforce, and I realized it was hitting your head against the brick wall, because the data format, how the data relationships was totally different in that system than it would be in Salesforce. So we ended up pulling out the data, reformatting, retransforming it, deduping it, everything inside of just our own tools, and then loading it back up. And our manager said, "You're crazy. You spent all this time when you actually could have spent less time just typing it into Salesforce." Like, think about the bigger picture. And does the data actually meet your business needs, or can we do it a totally different way?
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We're at end of call, and there seems like there's a lot more here. Is it worth coming back and talking, like leading off with this question, or are you in a good spot?
No, you know what? I think I'm in a good enough, unless they come back with more details. This will just be enough. Like I said, it was just somebody at my presentation, and I said I'll ask around and just post an answer, and I think this is a good start for them. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. We're so glad
Have a
to
good
see everyone.
weekend.
We'll see you November 1st. Yeah, it'll right after Halloween. So I want to hear about all the candy, and you can wear your costume on November 1st.
We didn't
All
approve
the
that,
candy.
Joy. We didn't approve that.
I did. You can wear your
okay.
you can wear your costume for the call if you're at home. I maybe not wear it to work. I don't know, but I'm happy to see costumes or have photos, because
Joy
Then
is
everybody will think it's the morning after, and they just never took it off.
Joy is gonna wear her hockey pants, evidently. So
They're not my hockey pants.
Costumes are happening already.
Shipping hockey pants from the US to Canada is prohibitively expensive and makes them not worth getting it. But my son found a pair that was much cheaper than we can buy it up here. So that's what we were trying to do, but
Okay.
got sold before we could ship them.
I
So-
thought maybe we'd send the jersey next. Like, well, now we got the pants.
And
now we need the
these
rest
were
of the stuff.
these were brand new, by the way.
They weren't smelly. They were brand new.
They were
So
not smelly.
if
They
you
were brand
find new
new.
ones, you still have a month to find more. So it'll be
I
all
would
right.
not force smelly hockey equipment on anybody.
I would leave
if
them
I
in the
can help it.
backyard until I need to deliver them. It'll be okay. Taco would
Yeah.
love the smell of them. All right, everyone. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time.
We appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
See you, Joy.
See you later. Thanks for coming, everybody. Oh, where's that button? Man, you just look for buttons and then they're gone. I'm going to leave now. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye, Linda. Bye, Rochelle. Bye, Sharon. Bye, Steve.